And so the year was 2016, and Bernie Sanders was about to celebrate his victory to become a Democratic nominee for president. He was surrounded by 23 of his friends, and they all celebrated and drank in cheerful glee. And then, all of a sudden, his friends turn on him, stabbing him left and right. He can't make out the faces, except for one person at the end. Et tu, Hillary. Et tu, Hillary. Now, we'll pick up again on the analogy near the end, but let's get right into the news. This is the Daily Talk, and today's date is April 25th, 2019. Let's talk about oil. Oil is beginning to go up as it's making a push upwards because of we're restricting competition. This restriction of competition is coming from the United States, threatening other countries to not buy oil from Iran, and this tightening of competition decreases supply and, of course, increases the price of oil. So, as my predictions, that oil will increase up to perhaps even $80 a barrel by the end of 2019 seems to be legit, and this is what Saudi Arabia said a few months ago as well. This could be seen in stocks like UGAZ that went up today, and many people not realizing on what this means for the dollar and how it could be a potential collapse of the dollar, since many countries are tired of being bullied by America and with America telling them who to trade with and who not to trade with, and eventually we may see a countries turn and not use the American dollar as a reserve currency because of this. They may revert to gold or maybe another type of currency. So, oil is going up, and prices, oil is going up. That's all I could say. So, you guys is more natural gas though. Other than that, I want to say thank you to Honest Vape who commented last video. I really appreciate that. To further talk about on why 16-year-olds shouldn't be allowed to vote is, again, their brains are not fully formed yet. I would even say an 18-year-old's brain is not even fully formed yet, and the 16-year-old, it's going to be complete mob mentality, and this increase of democracy among people, again, is very dangerous. Again, it's about quality results, not quantifiable results. So I would much rather prefer an older person's vote over a younger person's vote, because an older person who's voting has more wisdom, they're more wise, they've seen more, their vote has much more quality than a 16-year-old's vote. So I just want to talk about that for 1 second. Let's talk about Starbucks. Starbucks has seen massive surge recently and it has been doing very well. It even held its ground very well in the December crash. Starbucks has an increase in sales, making more money, but this is mainly because it's more expensive to buy the goods from Starbucks. It's not because transactions increased, and that's the biggest problem Starbucks is facing right now, is that they're not increasing transactions. And I think Starbucks is going to run out of gas soon. They've been going up tremendously the past year. I've been following Starbucks ever since it was $50 a share, and now it's $77 a share. So I think Starbucks is running out of gas. Not many people are excited to go eat at Starbucks anymore or go drink at Starbucks anymore. And they would much rather go to an independent coffee shop, one that feels much more homey and relaxed than a corporate, coffee shop. So that's a big problem Starbucks is going to face. Is it a good dividend play? Yes, it is. I think it's overpriced right now, and if you wanted to buy, I think a best buy opportunity is when the correction does happen and when a recession does hit. That would be a good time to buy Starbucks when it takes a giant dip from this coming recession, which we may get by the end of 2019. Anyway, with that said, let's go back to the analogy on what happened to Bernie in 2016. Basically, Bernie should have won the Democratic nominee, to run for president, but he did not. He was basically backstabbed by the Democrats, and Hillary was instead elected. And I want to relate this on how this could really end up for Yang this year, because if you see Yang's interviews and you compare them across who's interviewing them and what's going on, when CNN interviews Yang, or when CNBC interviews Yang, left-wing media, when they interview Yang, they actually come off as pretty hostile toward Yang. This is something that the reporters are doing to Yang because they kind of already chosen their favorites. Mostly it'd be Joe Biden. They're waiting for him to run, and I want to talk about this now because Joe Biden actually announced today that he is in the candidacy running for president. So because of this is very dangerous for Andrew Yang. Biden is a lot more popular than Yang. And what's going to happen, Yang could end up a lot like Bernie. Like, a lot of younger people are supporting Yang, and he's bridging the gap even, something Bernie was not able to do. But I don't think that would matter. I think Biden or Bernie could win instead this time. And then Yang will be backstabbed 23 times by his friends. So I just think that's something to think about. It's a really big threat for Yang, because right now it seems like every Democratic nominee is trying to out-left each other, and that's something Yang is not doing. He's focusing on bridging the gap. Yang has many libertarian views as well as left-wing views. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. I want Yang to pull through. I think Yang versus Trump is probably one of the better outcomes we could get, rather than a hard left-liner against Trump. So I think that's all I want to talk about. There's really nothing much to talk about today. That's some of the things that I wanted to talk about. Biden announcing they will run for candidacy is pretty big, because a lot of people already liked Biden beforehand, and that's why they were coming off so hostile, especially during the CNN Democratic town halls a couple of days ago. The people were asking the questions were actually asking very aggressive questions to the nominees, because they already kind of chosen Biden beforehand. They're just waiting for him to announce to run, and now he did it. And a lot of this is coming off from what happened in the 2016 election. It's reminding me of the 2016 election, with how Bernie was gaining a lot of young support, and how this could actually end up happening to Yang. And I really hope that doesn't happen. I hope Yang can continue pushing forward and trying to gain support and continue to do as many interviews as he can to try to spread his word. The competition is going to be tight between Yang, Bernie, and Biden. So please post your thoughts in the comments below on what you think could happen. Could this be a Yang-Bernie 2016 situation? Could that happen to Yang? And what do you think? Who's going to be the nominee? Who's going to be selected to run against Trump by the Democrats? Please post your comments below, and thank you for listening. Have a good day.